Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you had a good day in the market. It is April 14th, Tuesday. We're going to review 0-day options today on SPY and the small account challenge. Another just squeeze day. Very similar to yesterday, grinding and squeezing. More grindy today than squeezy like yesterday. Just gotta stop shorting it for it to stop grinding up like this. It's crazy. We've basically recovered almost all-time high in like 3 days. I mean, you had the gap, and then I guess like a week, and we're almost back to all-time highs. Wild. Yeah, let's look at it today. These days are kind of hard to trade. You've just got to exercise a lot of patience and try not to fight the trend at all. And yeah, you could do spreads or even selling premium credit spreads. I just stuck with naked calls, and that's all I traded today. Yeah, so let's see, let's check Eric's chart. He's by day trading on YouTube. Yeah, so squeeze into close yesterday. We did retest 5-day pre-market. We had a big gap down on Monday and then just basically ripped ever since then. Yeah, I mean, since Monday, 664, almost 20 points. Yeah, almost 20 points. So gap up again today and just left that gap in the dust. But as you can see, it looks nice on a 30-minute, but this is very, very grindy on the 1-minute. So I didn't have a whole lot of hesitation today, which was nice as far as like kept changing my drawings and was pretty confident with it. Just, it's hard when it's just not like showing you the perimeters of it that often. Anyways, I had purple here for the buying. I was looking for the bullish controlled selling, and thought I kind of saw it in here, but I just waited. And then this showed up and looks pretty good to me. Of course, no inverse head on the shoulder. It just kind of rallied out of it. So I didn't have anything to do with this. I did identify this gray for the bearish controlled buying or tapering. Which it did buy up in that pretty often today and then rip out, similar to yesterday, where it kind of grind in the slow buying and then break out of it without much structure. So that's where you have to grab it on the breakout or on the retrace, which 6 months ago I would not have been doing. So trying to just do a little progress every day, learn one thing every day. Sometimes that's hard, so just improving on what you know, at least. Today's first trade was at 10:10. It was a call. At least I had the right direction for today. Yeah, so did this, and it was right here. So, like I was saying, it broke the gray. I don't even know. I'm curious on Eric's charting today. We'll look at his maybe at the end. Compare, because I did glance at it at some point today, and I'm like, our lines just didn't really hardly line up. Anyways, I got this on this kind of retest. It was like right here. It wasn't a perfect retest for me, but I did get one here, just one. I think I had let's see. Yeah, I just got one. I don't think I even put an order for another one. It rallied up. I don't know if I really had much of a profit target on this thing. We're kind of just up in the middle of nowhere right now. On the 30-minute, we're just squeezing pretty much. Slow, painful death for shorts. So where did I close this? I didn't have this purple at that point. Well, I did, but you see how this one's steeper? So I had this steeper one here, and so I think that's maybe when I closed it. Let me see. No, I held through. That a boy. Whew. I mean, I guess it was pretty close to my opening. So the range was actually pretty small overall. I mean, it did end up grinding and kind of making a larger bottom to top, but intraday it was pretty tight ranges. It wasn't really feeling the parameters, the bottoms and the tops. You know, we never even did anything to the downside. Very mellow. Like this was it, and shorts were hyped, but it was just a nice little inverse head. Yeah, so anyways, for the upside, I think I just used gray for my stops here. And that's why I didn't close yet, which was nice. But again, this is a very small move still. So caught this big candle and I sold it on this candle. So had a nice, actually I remember this one I sold just right here. So I had like a perfect exit. Basically just because I was looking at 30% because I didn't really have an idea. I typed in 30% and put a limit order. And then I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to kind of look at the candles, price action. And so I was looking like half a point maybe. 690.24. Yeah, so that by that point it was half a point. By the time we got to here. And this was a pretty nice candle. So I was like, I'll just close it here. After that, then I tried this purple. So that would have been another indicator to close the top of that. And not to wait for it to break. So yeah, nice little first trade. Ended up grinding and then buying up in gray, sort of. Maybe it was a little bit off, I don't know. Although it did the same thing here, broke out, retraced, and I jumped in again. This time I got two of them. I was like, hey, it worked last time. Let's get more this time. These were 692 calls. I got one for 69 cents, one for 64 cents at 10:36, and then 10:38. One filled on, and then that candle ended up just flushing through. I closed them both on that for 57. So then I think I was back to break even. Given this move actually wasn't bad. It's still pretty small. I think my strike was right. Oh, my strike's pretty far out, actually. Yeah, I don't know why I was so far out. Oh, I was at 692 on that first one also. Strange. Should have been 691 there. That would have helped my profit. It wasn't bad, though. But yeah, I think since I scaled up to another contract on this one, this was a nasty candle. I think I was about break even at that point then. Yeah, next trade was at 120. So you can see big gap there in the trading. I wanted to just not have a bad day of over trading and trying to fight this grind. So I did. So in that, with that in mind, of course, I technically missed some. I didn't chart this till later. You know, you could say maybe there was a inverse head and shoulder here with this being the breakout. Or if we used gold. Where are we at? Just it wasn't. Yeah. Yeah. Could have. I wasn't. Yeah, I just wasn't around for that. So broke out, rallied up. This actually wasn't a bad move. Yeah, it's all hindsight. I mean, given it is in a grind too. Like if you had a nice inverse head down here, larger, be a little better. But this isn't too bad really. Problem I guess for me is I lose a little confidence once it's breaking out of this gray and then back in. Like maybe it's buying up in something else. Is this? Yeah, right here. Resistance, support. So it looks like orange was showing up there still. Maybe up here too. This red I don't think I drew till later. Yeah. So yeah, next trade, sorry, was at 120. So did all this. Get up. Come down. Back up. I considered getting a put here. I just didn't want to fight it. But breaking the white, I was like, this could be a little zombie, a little retracement trade. Didn't do it. So exercise patience, and in this case, waited for this red. I could have traded on the gold, now in hindsight, but I feel like typically later in the day, it's building liquidity in the flatter channels. Just because there's in the morning, it can use up the steeper ones just because there's less price action, but as the day goes on, I think it's using more. It's usually the flatter ones. The market's impatient in the morning and very patient midday to afternoon. So your trading has to reflect that as well. You can't be hasty when it's being very patient. So this one I waited for the red to break here, and I got one right there. Right here. 120. There was a time when I would never get one there because it was high of day. 120, let's see. Yeah, 120, bought one. This one. Okay, so I wasn't really paying attention here. I was doing other stuff, and I saw it come up, it hit my alert. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll get in. And I didn't have this. This I just drew from these resistances right here for end of day to know where that would hit. Maybe I still had gold, so I was kind of hoping for this gold one up here, but I wasn't sure. And so then I had purple, so I got in here. It climbed up, let's see, 6937, 6939. Yeah, so very tight range still, but it's enough, you know, with confidence and clear stops. And of course I could have grinded down here, which, you know, I maybe wouldn't liked it in the moment, but the further it goes down here, the higher opportunity up here, right? So instead of it coming up here and then doing this, or coming up here and grinding up that. Anyways, yeah, so here at 123, let's see. Yeah, 124 actually, right at the beginning of this candle. It broke the purple, and instead of selling it here, like I said, I wasn't paying attention, I bought another one. Got a great price for a sell, but it was a buy. And kept minding my own business. It's coming down. I'm like, all right, cool, little scalp. And then right about here, I look over, I'm like, oh, cool, 2 of them are open, and it's down. And sometimes I would just quickly close it, because like, okay, I made a mistake. Don't try and hope trade. Don't try and, yeah, just hold it and hope it works out. But at this point, the market was very slow and grindy. I kind of collected my thoughts a little bit. I saw it, and I was like, well, it has, you know, very well could retest this. I'll give it some time, basically. I could use gray for my stop eventually, or this red. But I was like, I'll just give it a little bit of time, so if I can recover this little loss. In a more volatile market, or if it had already broken some structure or some of my drawing that I would have already stopped out, then maybe I would have just closed it quickly. But in this case, it was still in my range. It had broken the red. It had retested top of there, but you know, who am I to say it's not going to keep going? So, so I held it for a bit, and I had 2 of them then, and I closed the first one for 64. So I bought the first one for 59 cents. I meant to sell that one for 68 cents, but I bought another one instead for 68 cents. So 59, 68 are my buys. Sold the first one on this candle, kind of this high. I was hoping to get the wick, but I just kind of let it go here. And that one was for 64 cents, so a little bit less than my second buy. And then the next one I closed on this candle for 66 cents. So I think it was basically a break-even trade after all that, which is fine. I mean, it's still small amounts, but scaling up. Is there enough liquidity for me to have, you know, 50 of these in SPX? Would I even want that? I don't know. Seems a little sketchy, but that's tight of a range. Maybe, though, to scale down, and, you know, if normal size is 50, then maybe 10. Problem is, if stupid mistakes like that can affect you. Anyways, yeah, so I was happy to get out of that one. Then I charted this, kind of tapering. Well, actually, I charted that a little later. Next trade was... So I sat on it. Didn't catch this down move at all. I just didn't want to fight the trend today. I knew like there'd be some volatility downside at times, most likely with inverse heads and stuff building. I didn't have a clear picture on where to enter, how to manage my risks. Like, I guess I could have entered on this break. I even have, well, I guess I had this green chart over here. Let me see what this looks like over here. Yeah, I just was kind of lazy, I guess. I could have probably done pretty well on this, but again, like, I don't know where I would have entered. Of course, this is kind of silly to do in hindsight, but at this point, it had already started this kind of tapering on the resistances, so probably wouldn't have been at least till here. And then I could have thrown in green and just used that for my stops. I mean, this was a nice move. It had some velocity for sure. But I left it alone. I wasn't even really planning on trading anymore. I mean, I was fine to just leave it. Just call it a day. But then had other plans and we might have fight it. So I got back in a trade. Let's see, I got in a call at 306 right here. Yeah, so red, I liked red, but I thought it could still build on gold. It looked like it was kind of here. It looked like it did here too. So to kind of, and I was even watching it here. I'm like, I could just kind of front run this thing. Sometimes the algo shows up long before it breaks out. Not my favorite, but I could have. Anyways, broke here, and of course, like what happens right when I get in, it starts building liquidity. And maybe this charting is not quite right. I'm not sure. But I got in there. Let's see, 306, I think. Yeah, 306. I bought one. 306. I bought two. Yeah, I bought two for 31 cents, 32 cents. And it just kind of starts chopping around. I'm holding on to it. I'm kind of using gold for my stop. I'm hoping it's not, though. Part of my problem also is I'm like, well, is it actually buying up in this gray and we finding resistance on this gray? And then also we had red here. So this was kind of a convergence of a few different of the algos that, yeah, if it's breaking gold and it's retesting, which it looks like it, but it's hard. It was hard to know in the moment if that's what was actually happening until it started to rally. And potentially it was finding resistance on gray and red, but at any rate, I held it. Nice couple green candles, but given this range is very small still. Overall, again, the day is big, but just the intraday moves were, you know, this was a pretty big move, but one that's reflected in the IV though. The IV is very low now. We're back in the teens. So 306 got them for 31 cents, 32 cents. What were these? So these are 694s. I'm not really looking at the pricing of the contracts when I'm buying or selling them. So, oh, okay, yeah. So this broke purple. I was happy it finally started going, and then it just like kind of gives up, doesn't even make it to red. I'm like, oh, I missed my exit. And then so I actually closed one of them right here to kind of just reduce my risk. So I closed one here once it broke purple. I think, yeah, the red was probably the right one to wait for it to break. But the range was still tight, so it didn't matter a whole lot, even if I had only one. You got to be able to hold them a long time when it's days like this. So that one was like a break-even sell. Next sell was at 316 right here on this candle. So it came up, and I was looking for basically this as a potential for sell. I took it, again, not looking at my P&L, and just kind of trading what I see. And then I was always like, well, I could get in if it breaks back out of here. But for now, I'll just take that one there. And so that one was 40 cents, so not bad. 32 cents, 31, 32 were the buys, 32 was a sell, and then 40 was a sell. And it kind of dances around a little bit. And then next trade was a buy. Okay, so this was breaking this red. Now, maybe a little bit from yesterday had me just hyped for another crazy end of day squeeze, potentially. This was a pretty big, I mean, relatively, this was a pretty big inverse head. So the expected move to the upside, I'm somewhat hopeful for. And the fact that we've just been squeezing shorts for days now. My strike here, I picked the wrong strike. So we were here. I was like, all right, I want to make it up here. Like, that would be, we can do it. So I picked 695 strike. Now yesterday, the 12, 13 cent contracts went to like $2.50. That's not usual, but it does happen. I wasn't trying to get that. I was trying to get like 40 cents, 35 cents, you know, 100%, 150% on these contracts. So anyways, I picked 695. The 694s were basically at the money, which normally I would pick a little closer to the money. Yeah, normally I would pick 694s. And this trade would have been much better if I did, but I bought one at 321, 321, 322, 16, 15, 15. Bought 3 of them. I was trying to get 4 actually, but only got filled on 3. I'm just limit ordering these, which I didn't really need to. I think actually a couple were market just because when they were that cheap, they weren't really changing in price. So even up through here, they didn't really change in price. One up like a penny, and then so I'm not looking at the dollar amount, but once it gets up here, I consider, I'm like, well, it breaks through high of day, and I don't, maybe sold one there, I'm not sure. But to trade it this way, I need to have at the money or in the money. To not just hold these until we hit here, or basically just, or bust, you know, as more of a lotto. It doesn't make much sense to have the strike I had. So it's much easier if it just rips and then gets up here. I'm like, oh yeah, that strike was perfect. But if it doesn't actually work, it's pretty silly having that strike because it goes up, and you hardly sell for any profit. Sold the first one at 324. Yeah, on this candle. So high of day. Again, I wasn't looking at the price, and so I was like, I'll just sell one there. That's fine. I've got 2 more. And I checked the price, and it was 17 cents. I was like, okay, great. It's 1 cent more than my higher fill. 2 cents more than my other one. And then I sold another one right here at 326, just because it was breaking the purple. And that one was for 16 cents actually, because it was red. Those are both markets. And then I just put a break-even stop on it. It kind of sat around and then had a couple nice candles to the upside. And I closed, I think, on this candle. Yeah, 33. Had the gray or the purple in there again. Would have been nice to have a nice perfect exit up there with it hitting this. I think I put that in before it got there, but I don't know. I still was wanting to get this. But yeah, kind of perfectly retested that. So I got kind of bad slippage on this red candle, but that one was at least 19 cents, so a little bit more profit. And then we chopped in at the end of the day. If it did break back up here, I would have taken it to the long side. But makes sense it didn't. I didn't show the P&L yesterday, but I think I put it, did I put it on the, I told you guys what it was in the video. It was like, I can't remember. Anyways, here's today's trades. Hardly any trades relatively. One blunder of a trade, trying to get out, but I got back in for more. So happy to kind of survive today, really. I mean, in hindsight now, yeah, there were some nice trades. Not a whole lot, and kind of tricky to trade. I guess I missed this trade right here, which I'm fine to miss that, then get chopped in and out trying to catch every little move through here and potentially through here. This one, I don't really consider myself missing because it's a zombie, it's a retracement. Like it doesn't always work like that. Oftentimes it'll grind, it won't just give you nice clean price action. And they're harder to manage. So I stuck to it, just got them when they broke to the upside, which I'm happy about. So I think I'm a little bit green today. Yeah. Yep. A little bit green. There it is. 18, I think 14 with commissions, 14 and a half. Yep. That's what I got. Sub up, like up, comment down, my 6th round. On the daily, this thing is like, you're pinned up in the top of the Bollinger. Yeah, we're well above it. So I do expect a retrace some point this week. Maybe tomorrow. Yeah, 5 is now pretty far down here. We tested it and just ripped. So it pinned way above the upper Bollinger. It usually doesn't stay up there too long on either side, the way below it or way above it, as you can see. So yeah, before the week's over, I think we'll probably settle down, probably fill this gap. Might be a little bit choppy coming up. Thanks, guys. Peace out.